Hi, I'm your friendly VTuber pharmacist, Ethan, and this is my very first video on my channel. Welcome to the channel. I started this channel to help out students or prospective pharmacy students with their academic endeavors, and what better way to start than to introduce the program itself. Before we move on to the content of the video, I am a real actual pharmacist and also a university professor teaching professional pharmacy courses. I hope this video helps you out, and hopefully I would like to see you in the field of pharmacy someday. So welcome to the video titled BS Pharmacy in the Philippines. So this video will center around the pharmacy education system here in the Philippines and what are the job prospects after you finish the program. So who is this video for? So if you click this video, it's probably because you're looking for more information about the BS Pharmacy program and what future will await you if you ever take this course. So this video is tailored for the following: senior high school students who are looking for a prospective career path in pharmacy, shifters who are looking for a second course, or those who are just plain curious about the pharmacy profession. So hopefully by the end of this video, you would be fully informed on what BS Pharmacy is all about and if it would be a fit for you. So what are the contents of this video? Timestamps will be provided so that you could skip to any part of the video in which you would like to focus on. So we would be covering what is pharmacy, what is the scope of pharmacy practice, the BS Pharmacy program and the courses to be taken, the fields of pharmacy, and some frequently asked questions. So let's start with the whole BS Pharmacy thing. What is pharmacy? So pharmacy is a very long-standing profession. Whenever people had illnesses, people have already been trying to treat those illnesses. That's why pharmacy is one of the oldest professions in the world. Pharmacy is the art and science of preparing and dispensing medication. And primarily in the modern setting, it is a health profession that links health sciences and chemical sciences, and we ensure the safe and rational use of drugs. So as a pharmacist, we focus on medication and patient safety. We know everything about drugs because that is our expertise. We would deal in anything related to drugs itself, including how it is produced, how it is prepared, how it is given to the patient, and how our patients are to be monitored after administration of medicines. So the scope of pharmacy practice, meaning what do pharmacists do? The scope of pharmacy practice is very large. It involves older pharmacy practices like compounding and contemporary pharmacy practice, or newer pharmacy practices like clinical pharmacy and pharmacovigilance. These are newer, more modern fields of pharmacy. The pharmacist is the expert in all things about drugs and is involved in all areas of drug discovery, the development process, manufacturing, administration, and also monitoring patient responses. So we have a very wide field of pharmacy. And if you graduate the BS Pharmacy program, you are prepared to deal in any of these fields in which you will specialize after you start working. So let's move on to the education system. So what is the BS Pharmacy program? So the BS Pharmacy program is a 4-year course designed to prepare future pharmacists to meet the demand of modern pharmacy practice. So after you graduate the program, it is expected that you would be able to handle the roles and responsibilities of a real pharmacist. It entails 3 years of in-school learning and 1 year of training in various fields of pharmacy. So we have 3 years of classroom training and 1 year of actual training in the field. After the program, you are expected to take and pass the licensure examination to get that RPH title and for you to practice pharmacy. So all universities and schools of pharmacy will offer the same subject or courses for the BS Pharmacy program. It is mandated by CHED Memorandum Order 25 Series of 2021, and it lays out the mandatory courses to be taken. So I will be listing out and briefly describing what are the exact subjects you will be learning in pharmacy school. So first, we have our core pharmacy courses. These are the most basic pharmacy courses that you would take. These will serve as the backbone for other more advanced pharmacy courses, and these are the courses that will develop your skills as a pharmacist the most. You will be relying on these skills most of the time, especially in calculations and dosage forms. So to start, we have perspectives in pharmacy. This is your introduction to the whole pharmacy practice. Next, you have your pharmaceutical calculations and techniques, in which you will be taught the various ways on how to compute patient doses. Next, you have your dosage forms and drug delivery devices. You will learn about all the different types of and forms of medications available in the market. Next, you have your physical pharmacy, in which you will connect your computations with your chemistry to learn about physical factors that affect your dosage forms. Next, you have your hospital pharmacy. This is a more specialized course to be taken, so it would prepare you for hospital practice. Next, you have your public health pharmacy. You would be discussing public health issues and drug-related events in the public health setting. And finally, you have your legal pharmacy and ethics, in which you will learn about the various laws and administrative rules that you need to follow in pharmacy. Next, you have your pharmaceutical chemistry. So pharmacy is a very chemistry-heavy course. You need a lot of chemistry to fully understand how your drugs work and how to make new drugs. So first, you have your inorganic chemistry. This will serve as the backbone for all your pharmacy related chemistry courses. So in inorganic chemistry, you would be taught the basics of chemistry, and you would be gradually moved on to analysis of inorganic compounds and also inorganic medicinals or medicines that are based on inorganic substances. Next, you have your pharmaceutical organic chemistry. This would serve as the prerequisite for your biochemistry and your medicinal chemistry. So here you would tackle organic chemistry in the context of how it is used in pharmacy practice. Next, you have your pharmaceutical analysis 1. This is quantitative pharmaceutical chemistry. You would learn wet methods of determining concentrations of various substances. In particular, titration is the focus of this course. Next, you have your pharmaceutical and medicinal organic chemistry. This is a specialized pharmacy course in which you would relate the structure of a compound to its pharmaceutical and pharmacologic actions. And finally, you have pharmaceutical analysis 2, which is instrumental methods of analysis. Here, you would learn how to operate machinery or instruments that would help you perform qualitative and quantitative analysis of compounds. Next, we have our pharmaceutical care courses. In pharmaceutical care, we focus on our patients. So first, we have our introduction to healthcare systems or introduction to pharmaceutical care. We talk about the general healthcare system here. Next, you have your basic dispensing or dispensing 1. Here you will learn the general process of dispensing medications, how to read prescriptions, how to interpret medication orders, how to check if the medication orders are correct, and what is the process of reading to dispensing medication. Next, you have your complementary and alternative medicine and dispensing and medication safety. This is a more advanced dispensing course in which you as a pharmacist need to evaluate if the prescriptions received are valid and if they are safe to be taken by the patient. And finally, you have your patient medication counseling. Not all pharmacy universities would offer this. However, in our school, we do offer it as a bonus or a added course to our students, so they would be better prepared when handling patients in the future. Next, you have your pharmaceutical management and administration. Here, you would learn about managing a business. In particular, it develops you to be able to manage people and businesses so that when you put up your own pharmacy, you wouldn't have so much of a challenge. So you have introduction to pharmacy administration, management and leadership, and pharmaceutical marketing and entrepreneurship. Next, you have the heaviest courses. These are pharmaceutical biosciences, so these relate science and the body. You need a strong foundation in your anatomy and physiology over here, and these are the lifeblood of the pharmacy courses. Without understanding these following courses, you would have difficulty fully grasping the concept of medication and how they work in the body. So first, you have your pharmaceutical biochemistry. It focuses on the biochemistry of the human body and how we can manipulate the biochemistry of the human body to suit our needs and how our drugs would work in certain biochemical processes. Next, you have your pharmacognosy and plant chemistry. This course delves into phytochemistry, the chemistry of plants. Primarily, it's a course to help you learn how to utilize natural sources of medications and to transform them to make better drugs out of them. Next, you have your biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics. This is a course that discusses the pharmaceutical component in the human body. So you would learn about physical properties and how it affects drug performance in the body. And in pharmacokinetics, it's the mathematics of pharmacology. You would learn how fast a drug works, how slow it is eliminated from the body, and it serves as a basis for the reasoning why we give medications in a certain time and in a certain period. Next, you have your pharmacology 1 and 2. This is the study of drugs and their effects on the human body. So take for example, you have your aspirin. Your aspirin works by cyclooxygenase inhibition. That's the general gist of pharmacology. You learn about the drugs, how they work, and what are their adverse effects, and what cases or conditions they are useful in. And finally, you have your pharmaceutical toxicology. Since all of our drugs are poisons when taken in excess, toxicology is important for pharmacists to correctly manage patients and to prevent toxic effects to emerge in the first place. Next, you have your manufacturing. So we have our pharmaceutical manufacturing with CGMP. Here you would learn about the different manufacturing processes, and you would also learn how to make drug products in the manufacturing setting in the laboratory. Next, you have your drug discovery and development. So this will gear you to the general process of drug development. And cosmetic product formulation. This is a newer course added to the latest curriculum. And this focuses on cosmetic formulation and primarily safety. And it would primarily deal with how can you get your cosmetic product approved by the FDA. Next, you have your pharmacotherapeutics or drug and disease management. This is an application of the pharmacology course in actual patients. So you would be focusing here on patient cases. Instead of focusing on the drug, you focus on the patient, how to manage the patient, and what drugs to give them. Next, you have your pharmacy research. All courses in the Philippines are required to produce research, or this is your thesis courses. So you have two courses, pharmacy research methods. This is your RTW1 or research 1. You would be learning how to write your thesis here. And pharmacy research and thesis writing, this is where you perform your thesis. It's either you collect data from your surveys or you perform experimentals. Next, you have your pharmacy practice experience, your SPP or your OJT. This is performed in the last year of your academic stay in the university. You would be put out into the field. There are 5 fields of pharmacy in which you will be rotating on. Each has its own number of hours, and you need to finish all of them before you graduate. So you have your institutional, social and administrative pharmacy, community, hospital, and industrial pharmacy. We also have our other courses, like our pharmaceutical botany with taxonomy. This serves as a basis for your pharmacognosy. Your microbiology and parasitology for your quality control. Human physiology and pathophysiology and anatomy and physiology. These are necessary for you to learn or to better grasp the concept of drugs performance in the body. And you also have pharmacy informatics on how you can leverage technology in the pharmacy practice. So we are done with the different courses in pharmacy. So let's talk about your job prospects. So if you finish the course or a program, what is awaiting you afterwards? So what job can you take, or what career can you build? So first, we have our community pharmacy. Community pharmacy is the first type of pharmacy you would probably think of. When you think of pharmacy, you would be probably thinking of this one. This is your friendly neighborhood pharmacy. Be one of the most accessible healthcare professionals to the public. Get employed in large drugstore chains or put up your own pharmacy. So here you serve the community. You primarily dispense medication to your customers and your patients. If you don't want to work for large drugstore chains, you could put up your own pharmacy. Since you are a pharmacist, you are allowed to put up your own. Next is hospital pharmacy. So in hospital pharmacy, it's a little bit more patient-centered, and you would work with other healthcare professionals to maximize the positive results for your patients. One advantage of hospital pharmacy is you can subspecialize. You can work in different departments of the hospital pharmacy like dispensing, compounding, clinical, or nuclear pharmacy. It's one of the better fields of pharmacy if you don't like dealing with customers. Next, you have your manufacturing or industrial. Be a part of large manufacturing firms, producing medicine and maintaining the safety and efficacy of your produced medication. You can work in different departments such as quality assurance, quality control, production, warehousing, and technical services. So in manufacturing or industrial, you basically make drugs in a large batch or in a large or scaled up setting. It's one of the fields in which you are more process detailed rather than problem solver. Next, you have your regulatory affairs. So regulatory affairs is a field of pharmacy in which your primary role is to make sure that the company you work for will have their drug product registered and allowed to be sold in the market. Since the FDA is the primary approving body, you're always gonna be there. Your main job is to make sure that your company's product is allowed to be sold. Since if it's not allowed to be sold, they would lose money. So your main role is to act as a liaison officer between your company and the regulatory body, namely the FDA. Next is pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance is a newer course, a newer path for pharmacists. So here, you don't focus on regulatory compliance, but you focus on adverse effects. So clinical trials are not comprehensive. There are some things that would be missed in clinical trials that will appear in larger populations of patients. So your main job here is to receive reports of adverse effects and try to determine if it is linked to your drug product. If it is linked to your drug product, it's your responsibility to update your literature and to inform healthcare professionals that there is a risk of something happening when using this drug product. This is primarily a patient safety focused field. Next is administrative. If you want to work for the government in a administrative position, you could try this field. You could work for the FDA or the Department of Health. This primarily makes you a government worker. It has a very good tenure, and you are involved in managing certain parts of the healthcare system. You could also try your hand in research and development. You could be employed in several R&D positions in certain companies, especially if you are very good at pharmaceutical chemistry. You could be tasked in designing and discovering lead compounds, creating new formulations, or assessing adverse effects and patient responses. So, if you don't want to immediately go to work for some reason, there are still some options for you to take. So, you could take the clinical pharmacy program or clinical pharmacy. It is an added year to your normal BS degree, and it would make you eligible to take some equivalency examinations abroad, especially in the US. The minimum amount of schooling required for NCLEX. I think it was NAPLEX. NAPLEX is 5 years. You could also take up Doctor of Pharmacy. This is an added 2 years. This allows you to get a doctorate title, and it's primarily focused on patient care. You could also pursue master's and PhD in pharmacy if you want to be more research focused. Or if you don't want to continue being a pharmacist, you could take up Doctor of Medicine as well. Be an MD. So I have discussed everything that I wanted to related to the pharmacy program, and I'll try to answer some frequently asked questions. If the question you have isn't here in the video, you could leave it down in the comments, and I'll try my best to make a new video that would answer the compiled frequently asked questions. So the first one, a very common question that senior high school students ask: is there mathematics in pharmacy? The answer is yes. We do have some mathematics, particularly in pharmaceutical calculations and in physical pharmacy and quality control 1. So there is mathematics, but it's not as difficult as in high school. All you need here is a working background or knowledge in algebra, solving for a single variable x, and you would be fine. You won't need geometry, trigonometry, calculus in this program. All you need is basic algebra and some problem solving skills, of course. So I hope this would relieve some of the people that would be a little bit challenged in mathematics. It's not a very mathematically demanding field, but it would still require you to learn some computations. Next, are non-STEM students allowed in the program? The answer is yes. The Commission on Higher Education has already issued a memorandum order that any program cannot reject a non-aligned student to any program. So basically, all strands of senior high school students are allowed to take the program. However, just be aware, if you are a non-STEM student, you would have probably not taken chemistry. And in inorganic chemistry or pharmaceutical chemistry 1, you would be bombarded with new knowledge. So that is an inherent challenge to non-STEM students. You would be taught the basics, of course, but it will be taught in a more rapid pace compared to the high school setting. Take, for example, we expect students to memorize the periodic table in a span of 1 to 2 weeks, including the names and charges of ions. Okay. So you can take, but please be aware that you will experience challenges on the first semester. However, I do have some graduates that are very good students that are non-STEM. I think we had ABM. Most of them were ABM. They yielded very good board performances. Next, what are the job prospects abroad? So is this course good if you want to practice abroad? Short answer is compared to nursing or compared to other courses like radiologic technology, physical therapy, nursing, medical laboratory science, it's harder to get jobs as a pharmacist, primarily because pharmacy is a very high risk profession. What I mean is, since you are giving out medications, it's a very you are liable for any errors that would occur if a patient received false medication, wrong medication, or if they experience bad effects of the drugs due to miscalculations. You are very much liable. That is why the regulatory bodies of other countries are strict when they are licensing pharmacists. So there are job prospects abroad as a pharmacist. However, please be prepared with the challenges like equivalency. Take for example, if you want to practice in the US, you need to have an equivalency here, then perform your internship there. In Australia, it's the same. In the Middle East, it's the same. You could practice as a technician in other countries, so that's a little bit lower than a pharmacist. However, the salary is still good. If you want to be a pharmacist abroad, you should already be thinking about it once you step in the first year of pharmacy school. You should think about what exams you're gonna take, when you're gonna take the review, how are you going to get there, how would you stay. So if you are decided on getting a job abroad, first year, you should be pinpoint focused on what are the things you need to accomplish to reach that goal. How difficult is the BS Pharmacy program? The BS Pharmacy program is a difficult program. It's academically challenging. It would take a lot out of you. I'm not sugarcoating things when we say that you would bleed first and cry tears of blood before passing this course. It is difficult. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. However, it is very much worth it. This is not a course for those who want to take it easy. This is a course for people who want to give their best. And the rewards are very proportional to the efforts that you put in. It's not impossible, but it's also not a cakewalk. Another question. Is BS Pharmacy a good pre-med program? The answer is if a program is a good pre-med is subjective. BS Pharmacy, objectively, is a good pre-med program primarily because you have a very strong working knowledge on the body, medications, and how to manage patients if you finish BS Pharmacy. Therapeutics 1 and Therapeutics 2, it's like one of my students described it as medicine free trial. So you would be like a mini doctor in those courses. So it's a very good pre-med, don't get me wrong. It's once you step into medicine, other pre-med programs would bow down to you in terms of pharmacology and in biochemistry, hopefully. However, the context of a good pre-med program is subjective. What do you want from a pre-med program? There are some paths that would allow you to go to medicine in the span of 3 years. Take, for example, forensic science or human biology. It's less to the BS Pharmacy of 4 years. So you would become a doctor a little bit faster. Or other courses like MedTech, RadTech, PT. They all bring different things to medical school. Same with pharmacy. So just be aware of what are your strengths and your weaknesses once you go to pre-med. But if you take BS Pharmacy in pre-med, as your pre-med and go into medical school, you're gonna still suffer in medical school. No one has it easy in medical school. Next question. Can I shift to BS Pharmacy? The answer is absolutely yes. However, just do take note that due to the different course titles of the BS Pharmacy program, if you shift to the Pharmacy program, do not expect that you would take less than 4 years. You would take 4 years exactly again. You're similar to back to square one once you shift to BS Pharmacy. Even if you shifted from another school of BS Pharmacy, there's a high likelihood that not all courses would be credited. So you need to take them again in your next university. How much is the salary for a pharmacist? It starts off at around 16,000 pesos upwards. It depends on what field you're working on. However, one thing about it, the field of pharmacy is you can easily move from one career to another. Learn a little bit of experience, then move towards other fields that would interest you. So another advantage of BS Pharmacy is there are a lot of jobs. Like, jobs would be calling you after you graduate and pass the licensure examination. There would be job openings everywhere for pharmacists. All you have to do is to choose what career path you're going to walk on. And finally is, would you recommend the BS Pharmacy program to someone who is undecided? So if you watch this video and you're telling yourself, is this a course for me? Think on it first. The BS Pharmacy is not a course that is forgiving. If you do not like what you are doing in the pharmacy program, or if you're not seeing yourself as a pharmacist, you would experience great difficulty staying in the program. It's a very academically challenging, and people with passion are the best ones to survive in this program. People who really want to become a pharmacist and people who know what they're capable of. I wouldn't suggest this for people who is making it their final choice or their default choice, or if all else fails, this is your course to be taken. No, this course is people who know what they want and know what they are getting into. Otherwise, if you are half-hearted in entering this program, you would not have a pleasant time here. And I think that wraps up all the questions. So that concludes this video. I think it's very long already. I hope that this video has helped you in determining if BS Pharmacy is for you. Hopefully, I could have persuaded you to take BS Pharmacy, or I could have deterred you from taking it. Whatever the case may be, I'm glad that you watched this and considered taking up BS Pharmacy. So again, I'm Ethan, and if you want to leave any comments below, please do so. If you want some questions to be answered, also leave it in the comment box. Again, thank you for watching, and hope to see you next in my next series of videos.